Oh boy, we done made it. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to High Top Sports. Today we had a Florida Gator presser. We had Sap talking, we had Coach Napier talking, we had Coach Miles talking. I'm just telling you, I told you we wouldn't be live on Tuesday unless some things got nasty with it. Well, I didn't know we had a presser scheduled for today. And here we are. We're going to talk about it. They asked about DJ Lagway. We get updates on other injuries. We get updates on Asa Turner. We get updates on practice. We get Napier's perspective on this season. Is it playoff or bust? He alludes to that a little bit. We get updates on the quarterback room as a whole. It just feels good, baby, to be back in the saddle, to talk about it, to hear about it. Woo! I love it. Now, we do have some other news, okay? I may be going to jail for murder over the next 48 hours, okay? Sheldon, what do you mean? Well, we had a little golf outing today with one of our favorite creators at College Football, Hall of Fame College Football, Jason, our Oklahoma guy. And he thought it'd be a good idea to challenge on the dogs. You know what I'm saying? The dogs. I've been telling him all month, like it probably is best just me versus whoever, you and whoever. He wanted me to get a teammate. So I said, bring on down Cowboy Ty. And when I tell you first degree murder was unleashed on these men, I'm just, listen, you know, it got ugly fast. The ninth hole, I hit a 4-iron about 230, about as straight as they make them, boys. And I turned around and I said, boys, it's been fun. But daddy's dialed. Woo! It feels good to be back on the course. I got to tell you, I was dialed in today. It was a good time. Shout out to Jason and Scott, though, for being there. They were phenomenal. Scott's an absolute beast when it comes to hitting the sticks. But it was a great time. Great. I hope we filmed all of it for the most part. It got hot, boys. I'm telling you, we were grasping for air there towards the end. But it was a dogfight. It had some beef to it. So I don't know when it'll be out. You know, I'm not editing and producing it, but hopefully sooner rather than later. That's for sure. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, boys. Good to see you. And let's just get right into it, man. First order of business, obviously, a lot of injury conversations was the start off. So players that will be limited headed into this upcoming practice for the fall here would be Tavarius Dice, off at the tackle, new tackle for freshman. Pup Howard, which we've heard about it. Again, limited, not completely not participating, limited. Make sure you guys know this. Trayon Webb, which is interesting. We saw him obviously on Sunday at our Gator Media event. Looked fine. Didn't mention anything of it. Not that I would expect him to, but he looked fine. So he's obviously coming off an injury from last year. And then, of course, DJ Lagway is the other one. But very positive where things are headed. Nothing on Aaron Gates, obviously someone who was coming off of an ACL injury. All good there. He will be wearing a brace, but has been a full participant up until this point. Said that, look, if, you know, there may be some times that we'll take him out because we just want to make sure he's resting and he's good and he's healthy. But as of now, he's rock and rolling. And I love that. I think Bryce Thornton, Sharif Denson, that nickelback room is a big component. Those guys were absolute animals last year. Such a blast to watch. Bryce Thornton, another one that were huge impact players. Made massive impacts on that defense and are going to be needed, especially with the young cornerback room. If you can have the Gates, the Thorntons, and the Densons, and of course the safety room to help just be out there, be a part of that. We're going to need someone to fill in for that Triquez Bridges roles as well. Michael Caraway Jr. will be looking like to take on a new position. He played cornerback, but is looking like he's going to be making some transition into the safety room, which will be cool to see. As for Asa Turner, no longer part of the team. Sounds like he's stepping away due to all the injuries, is what Billy alluded to, but ended his comment on Asa saying he will not be on the team after we just had an entire thing yesterday. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what changed over the course of 24 hours, but as of now, and it seems for the foreseeable future, that Asa Turner will not only not be on the roster, but will not be playing football at all, which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I just saw also, too, another kind of sad thing. Charlie Oferdal, who's a running back for the Buffs, just earned a scholarship last year. He's stepping away from the game due to a concussion. This is the hard part of the game, the part that sucks, man. These kids put their life and blood into this thing, and just something as simple as that could just take you out of it. So it's unfortunate, but make sure appreciate it. As for DJ Lagway, though, he spoke to it. Some great questions, not too, I would say they weren't into him too heavily on it, but look, I think there was a lot of questions on, hey, how is he handling this? What's the thought process? And Billy was very, I would say, transparent. Like, look, it's not ideal, and that was refreshing to hear. And that it's not ideal, but you can try to coach speak it. You can try to talk around it. But look, and I said it last night. It's not ideal to not be out. But the big thing that they're working on is just how do we maintain his mental capacity through all of this. They've done a lot. He said he got 1,000 reps during their OTAs this summer, whether they had a ball, didn't have a ball, had a ton of reps there. And he said, Coach O'Hara has gotten very creative on how he's utilized him and tried to get him involved as much as possible to while they're working through these injuries and working on getting healthy, which is really cool to hear that they're doing everything they can. He goes, look, the biggest thing is that his mindset, his attitude towards this entire process has been great. He's frustrated, of course, but he's kept a good head on his shoulders, and it's our job to maintain expectations through all of this. And what's important about that, and again, coming off the golf course today, playing with the guys, Ty, and things like that, they get frustrated with the game. They get frustrated because the ball doesn't fly a certain way. And it's taken me a long time, especially up until this point, to figure those things out. And I kind of told myself, I don't really get too upset anymore. My expectations are very tamed when I go out into the golf course, just because I know I don't play enough to have the expectations that I think I should have. Now, how does this relate to DJ Lagway? Is that when you're a 5-star quarterback, the noise is there naturally, organically. You want to be the best that you can be. You want to go 25 for 25, throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like, that is your expectations. Those aren't real expectations. You're going to throw a pick. You're going to make a bad throw. It's how you respond to those. And life is the exact same way. We think that it should go a certain way, and it's never going to go the way that we think that it should go. And that's what's really hard, I think, and that you see it with the coaches, is what's so important about maintaining and trying to create a solid foundation, a solid base. We'll get into it a little bit later on, but they talked about the playoff expectations, and it kind of alludes to this a little bit of, how do we, from day to day, that's what we're focused on. How do we get better each day? 1%. And we'll get into that more so up later on. But hearing him talk about managing the expectations, it was like perfect to what we were talking about today. Of like, look, you can't get too high when you hit a good drive, and you can't get too mad when you chunk it. Like, it is what it is. Move on to the next shot and figure it out. It's not going to be the end of the world. You're going to hit good shots. You're going to hit bad shots. But what are you doing between those shots is what really, really matters. And I love the fact that, again, Billy, this is what I love about Billy. When we're all talking loud and noise and this, he does a phenomenal job of bringing it back to, hey, like, that's all great and dandy. Like, we're talking about what could be, what should be, and what may be. But all I can focus on and control is what's right here. What are we doing day to day to get better? How are we making this process of rock and roll? I just read TJ's comment. But yeah, so all good stuff there. Again, he said they're a week into the injury, so it happened a week ago, and that he's making tremendous strides on the recovery process thus far. That was about as far as he got with it. We didn't get any details in regards to, when will he be back, time frame, none of that as of now. None of that as of now. So that's where we stand with that. Now, they spoke about the quarterback. I think it was Buddy Martin, which I've never heard, but it sounded like him, the raspy voice of Buddy Martin asking about this quarterback room, and spoke to the depth of the team. And I've been talking about this too, of like, look, we want DJ Lagway. We all want DJ Lagway, but what if he doesn't play? Like, where do we go? And so they spoke a lot about the depth on this team, the surrounding talent, which I've been alluding to. This is where I'm extremely excited for this team. I've kind of slowly trended towards this of like, look, it's at a point where you plug a guy back there that can be fundamentally sound. The team has the key pieces to do something very special. DJ Lagway takes it to another level, right? DJ Lagway allows you to go do things that, we're playing late in January. That's what DJ Lagway does. But I still think this team is a very sound football team. DJ Lagway last year, was picking up pieces and making up for things. This year, he could go and be himself and then some. And that's what's exciting about heading into this season. So they talked about the two-man depth. That's what Napier even alluded to. Because look, what really excites me is that a lot of talent in that running back room and in that line, but it's a 2 depth on the front line that has me really excited. Talk about the tight end room as well. But then we got into the quarterback room. And I love how he said, he goes, it's a blessing in disguise. And I've been kind of saying this, you never want your quarterback to not play, right? Like that's a fact. But if that part's now done, so what can we control? Well, our young quarterback, Aiden Warner, who was thrown into the Wolves last year that didn't have a lot of playing time, has had a ton of experience and ton of growing over the last year, right? Harrison Bailey, who was a transfer to Tennessee veteran guy, Graham Mertz-esque in the sense that he's been around the game for a very long time. He's getting a lot of reps. Jamal Jones has made tremendous strides in this offseason. So I thought about it like this, right? We go back to last year. Mertz and DJ Lagway, we didn't speak about injuries. There was none going into it. Everybody seemed healthy. We thought we were in great hands because you're 1-2, you're like super excited about. Like we didn't even ask about the third string quarterback until he was trotted onto the football field. That's, anytime you get a third string thrown in there, that's not a great place to be. Okay? And when we think about 2 years before that, when Graham Mertz went down, who came in? Max Brown, right? Who honestly probably wasn't getting too many reps because Mertz was trying to figure things out. So in a weird way, it's forced the team to have to really think like, okay, what if things don't go right? We got to put all 10 toes down on making these guys be ready to rock and roll. And I think that going into next year, the depth of experienced guys ready to take over this offense is going to be much more than it was last year. I think obviously it was top heavy with talent with Mertz and DJ. But in a weird world, blessing in disguise, with all what's going on surrounding around DJ Lagway, it's been tremendous for these guys. I know we love to kind of, I don't, but there's always, some slander towards Aiden Warner. Look, outside of that Texas game, I think he came in, did a phenomenal job against Georgia, managed his thing, very limited playbook when he came in. Both him and Bailey, in my opinion, looked phenomenal during the spring game, controlled the offense very well, was able to hit the throws they wanted to. So, again, I'm not trying to say this and talk as if like DJ's not going to play, but it's been a factor. It's been a conversation. David's brought it up like, hey, what if DJ doesn't play? What happened? I don't think it's as complete as a fall off as it was last year. Like when we got down to DJ, and if he went down, we all felt the air come out of the room. I don't feel that way this year. Okay, that's all that I'm saying, because I feel like we've been fortunate enough in a weird way to have these guys get a ton of reps and are extremely talented still. Again, the ceiling, is it what DJ Lagway can provide? No, that's just is what it is. Not everybody that's quarterbacks across the country. It's not like they're going from Arch to DJ in Texas, right? I don't even know who their backup is. I don't color them close enough, but yeah. Look, Q Lee's sold that without DJ, the whole ship comes sinking down, and I understand that perspective too. But I don't think that it is a complete burn the ship. Is all that I'm saying. Now let's talk about practice here a little bit. They got into it. They spoke about that and what's happening. And somebody asked a great question of like, hey, during that bye week there was a flip, right? Which we all know the week that Billy was going to get terminated, and then he didn't get terminated, and all of a sudden we went on a nice healthy run where things were figured out. And especially on the defensive side of things. And we heard about it. It was practice got harder. Practice got more competitive. And he goes, we definitely have embodied that headed into this year, where every practice is hard. Every practice is competitive. They're getting after it. Here's what Tyreek Sapp had to say about practice. Practice. Not a game. Not a game. Practice.
Like nothing compares to going against South. Nothing compares to going against Caleb Banks. It doesn't feel like that. I want to put pressure. I want to put immense pressure. I want them to feel it. I want them to hate practice. I want them to hate it, because when they go in the game, I want them to be hated. I want people to watch the film and be like, I don't want no parts of that. And that's what it has to be if you want to be the best in the country. So, and they bring it every day, and I love those guys. Those guys force me to get better. They force me to learn and adapt. So, like the sky's the limit for the O-line, man.
That fires me up. I love hearing that about our edge, our leader at the edge room, the leader in that defensive room, talking about making the guys in the offensive line life a living hell every single day. I want to wake up and I want you to hate me. I want you to punch me in the face because I am just an annoying gnat, like Cody in the headphones. Zzz. That way, Come game day, it's a walk in the park, baby. It's easy. It's easy squeezy. Lemon peasy. That fired me up. I think those are things, again, that are huge components during the offseason in a weird way that gets lost in translation. You know, you hear about it. Practice hard, play hard, right? Practice like you're going to play. We talk about it. There's a difference between talking about it and being about it. And I think that's lost a lot of the time. And it's very easy to get caught up in the monotony of things, going through the motions and going through the practice, going through the reps, and not understanding of like, I'm not pushing myself. I'm not making myself uncomfortable. If I'm not uncomfortable every single day, I'm not getting better. And it feels like that's what SAP is possessing, and it is spreading like a disease, right, in a good way across the team. So that I love. That I love. What was also cool to watch, there was a lot of people who were trying to ask questions. And Billy's like, man, we got ourselves a rowdy group here today, boys. That was fun. So, look, I think I'm excited to hear that those defensive or those practice habits are still being rolled over. Those practice habits are still being instilled even this late, or this, I guess, early. But, I mean, it's hot out there, boys. And it's easy to take a take a day off. And I feel like a day like today, like I can imagine it, right? Where the O-line's like, let's go a little bit easy. And Sap is just hitting another gear of like, no, I know it's hot. I know you want to just lay down right now. Good. I'm going to make you feel like you want to lay down. Figure it out. I want you to cry. I want to break you, right? And that to me is huge as well. What was cool to see as well, a little like tidbit on Napier. Somebody asked him like, hey, this is your first time in 4 years that you're not playing an absolute just gauntlet of a team week one, right? A Power 4 team week one. We're getting a little bit of a T-ball hit. And he said something. It was kind of just like a fluff answer. And he goes, there's your coach speak for the day. It kind of seeing, again, once again, that a little bit of charisma and personality from Napier coming through the mic, just his awareness of what he says and how he is and how he carries himself. He knows it. I thought that was pretty funny, in my opinion. Also, too, they asked him about Oliver Rio, I believe is how it said, the 7'9" center, I guess, for the Gators, which we talked about on Sunday's show, on trying him out and how that process came to be. He goes, yeah, we were eating lunch in a dining hall, and I saw him walk by, and we were like, if he just puts his hands up and gets a little bit of air under his feet, we might have something there. And he said it's to be decided. So it hasn't been decided yet on what's going to happen, which I read on New York Times that it was scratched. Doesn't appear to be that's scratched. So that's good. That's good. I was positive in my opinion to hear those things. But boys and girls, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and let's keep it rocking. Now let's talk about this. He spoke about the secondary a little bit, the youngness. So he's excited about just the depth across the board, but there are some young players on those DB rooms. Talked about Kermani McClain, the progress that he's made. Talked about him just getting a little better grasp of the playbook is what he spoke to. Also, LJ McCray. Miles talked very highly of him, and it was cool because Coach Napier said, look, he took his nutrition and strength and conditioning very seriously, the feedback that he received after spring, and made a complete 180 turnaround in the right direction headed into fall camp, which is good. He's completely transformed his body and is ready to participate in this next level. And look, when you hear that, like, well, LJ McCray was a beast. This is something that I always felt too, that LJ had the shape, right? The intangibles of the height and the size, but not necessarily look the part, right? Not quite just a physical specimen like a George Gums and a Tyreek Sapp, right? But for an edge player, he didn't have it. So I'm excited to see how he looks. Those are key components of like, hey, you got to be able to grab a grown man and sling him to the side and still have the gas to get through somebody, right? So those are huge components. And again, with 5-star guy, it was right there. Just needed a few tweaks and focus on it. So that was really good to hear. But as for again the secondary, we kind of talked about that already with the move for Michael Caraway Jr. And again, more of he spoke to the youth on the secondary. Spoke very highly of Miles Graham. There was a lot of praise for him about being a superstar, taking over that leadership role. I think they were talking about who's going to wear the green sticker, right? Is it him? Is it Pup? Who is it? He was kind of gave a lot of coach speak on that, on who he feels can kind of take over that room. But again, Pup's been playing hurt or been limited. So that could be a factor of that as well. But he goes, look, we have some young players in the secondary, but what I'm excited on is that we're well-rounded everywhere else, and we're able to really focus on those second-tier and third-tier guys and growing their development. That's kind of where we're at right now. That's how sound we are and how they're feeling things. So I love that. I love hearing that a lot. Now, what was cool, somebody asked, what are your expectations? It's playoffs, right? Like, he goes, are you going in here and are you telling these guys, like, hey, we're going to go play for the playoffs? Like, you mentioned that. Is that a conversation, or do you just kind of go day to day? And he goes, and look, I was very surprised about this. He goes, yeah, we have aspirations to be a playoff team. But we're not going to shy away from it. That's what we want to be. We want to be a championship caliber team. We want to get there. But he goes, but we have to get it done today. We've got to have good days. Good days lead to good weeks lead to good months, and then good months ultimately lead to good seasons. And look, it sounds so cliche. It sounds so simple, but that's what it is. It's creating habits. It's creating each day 1% better. There was a young man that he had Down syndrome. He ran the Ironman that I did. So I heard a lot about. There's a lot of marketing towards his mantra, which was 1% better. And when you're training for something like an Ironman, you don't go from waking up one day and said, "Hey, I'm going to go run an Ironman." The next, it took me a year and a half to get my body to that point. And I didn't do it over, in 6 months, that's where I'm going to be. No, each day had to get a little bit better, whether it was dieting, whether it was gear, whether it was proper running, proper stretching. Like, every single day, I learned something to improve myself to the task that I was trying to get at ultimately, which was to complete an Ironman. And I lived it. I truly understood it. But it's hard for people to grasp that this project is a day-to-day thing. Like, you see the end goal and you just kind of want to grab the cookie off the plate. Like, it's not that simple. It's day-to-day. It's step by step. So I love hearing Coach talk about these things, because that's what it is. Like, and he was very vulnerable, right? What did he say here about it? Because somebody said, "Are you optimistic about this team? Like, how do you feel?" And I think, like, you got to be careful with this, right? He says, "I like the people we have in our building. You can have a great offseason. You can have a great roster, but you got to play. Reality is we got to earn it. I'm focused on that. I love the intangibles, but it's about getting the vets playing their best and having the young guys improving." And that's kind of what we've been saying. On paper, you got everything. It looks like you got all the pieces, but you still got to play. You still got to spot the ball. So I love what we have. I love what we built. Yeah, I'm excited, but I understand that there's still things that have to be done. A very healthy answer. A very aware answer. I mean, it's easy to hear me. Yeah, we're extremely optimistic. I mean, I love this. I think you kind of brush it off, but to still be very aware. And again, it's managing expectations for yourself and understanding that, hey, you don't want to, because if you say, hey, we're going to go be a playoff team, which how we us fans are, that if one thing doesn't bounce your way, the fall off can be how the fan base, how we react when things don't go like they should. Like, when we get hit with a DJ Lagways in a boot, we go in complete shambles, right? Because our expectations are so high that any type of thing that throws it off the path makes us go absolutely berserk. So there is a component to that of managing the expectations of, like, yeah, everything is good, but there's still a lot of things that we don't have control on. There's still a lot of things that could be thrown into the mix that, if we're not mentally prepared and stabilized to handle it, could throw us completely off the Richter. Completely off the Richter. So, again, I'm always been a big fan of that. Again, he's always saying, great men create great football players. So, that was good. Zach Goodall dropped a little bit of knowledge on some sizes, notable size changes from the spring ball to fall. DJ Lagway, 250. 250. I'm just saying. I read an article where it says the team didn't gain too much weight, but for good reason. There wasn't much needed to be gained because they were already at a much better place than they were prior to that, which was really good to hear. As for DJ at 250, everyone's going to have their thoughts and opinions about it. Could it be a little bit too heavy? Again, I think everyone carries weight and muscle a little bit differently. So, who are we to say that, hey, you shouldn't? I always go back and I think about Tom Brady and how he approached the game. There was a scene from his Tom versus Time where he's talking to Edelman about, like, not eating Edelnut, not being so physical in the weight room and all these things that it's hard on the joints. And like Edelman's like, suck it, Tom. You don't know what you're talking about. In that season, that's when Edelman tore his ACL. But when you look at Tom's longevity, like there's obviously a bit of a key to that success of him managing that. And I wonder if, again, he's a quarterback. You've got to be a little more elusive, but also they play a different game. I mean, you got DJ that's built to play a little more physical. So those are all things to take into consideration. Trayon's up 5 pounds. Tramel Jones up 9 pounds. Tramel definitely could use it. 6 foot. He was 190, 194. He was 203, but he looked phenomenal. I saw him just the other day. Duke Clark went from 190 to 211. You give me a 6 foot running back, 220, 215. I'm taking every bit of it. You know what I mean? Like, let's sign me up. Eugene going from 189 to 194. Look, you got to keep in mind, these guys will trim down before the season too. So you kind of have to, you're in hibernation, you got to bulk up a little bit because you're about to go through the next 12 weeks of just more longer than that. I mean, it's 15, 16 weeks of you're just getting torched. And so they'll thin up a little bit, I believe, headed into the season in a good kind of way. Dallas Wilson went from 209 to 213. BB3 from 172 to 178. Tank Hawkins, 169 to 178. Livingston, 260 to 264. Let's see some big ones here. Bryce Lovett went down 5 pounds. That right tackle. Getting worked, baby. Getting worked. Gerard Medlock, 6'5" offensive lineman. He's a transfer from Cincinnati, I believe. We haven't heard much about him. Went from 308 to 321. Hopefully the good kind of way. Barber went down 8, 322 to 314. Look, I don't mind a lean tackle. You got to be quick with it. Jake Slaughter went up a little bit, up 9 pounds. Westfall, 336, 6'8" to 342 in the tackle position. Cameron Waits went down 6. Love to see just a nice, healthy transition. Marcus Maskell went from 293 to 308, up 15 pounds. Good for him. I know he came in from high school with an injury, so good stuff. Jaden Woods up 8 pounds, and we saw him on Sunday, looked phenomenal. Kofi Asar, the 6'5" edge, up 5 pounds. Brian Taylor, up 16 pounds. Brian Taylor is moving into that interior position, 278 to 294. That is big time stuff. I love that. That's huge because he's playing again. He's trying to fill in that Cam Jackson, Banks, and that interior defense. 278, you're getting moved off the ball. Let's call it what it is, right? Like you ain't handling that juice. So I love it. Jeremiah McLeod, defensive lineman, he's up 15, 279 up to 294. Again, same thing. Interior D-line. Then we got Micah Borg, went down from 355 to 349, so a nice little healthy change there. Jamari Lyons from 308 to 318. That 320 to 325, I think, is kind of that sweet spot for sure. Tavarius Brown up 6 pounds up to 300 as well. So all good stuff. All good stuff, man. A lot of great changes. A lot of good healthy weight, it seems, was put on these boys. But yeah, great stuff. Great stuff there. Well, happy to see you on this beautiful Tuesday. Didn't know we would have a pop-in show, but that's why, you get to keep the bell turned on in case we do. You want to be ready to rock and roll. You want to be ready. You don't want to miss it. We get after it. We get busy with it. But appreciate y'all as always for tuning in. I love y'all. Y'all be good. And we'll see you tomorrow live at 8:35. I'm sure some more things will come out. We'll have some more great conversations with Swolder and I. We have a shirt dropping tomorrow, the Beat LSU shirt. So if you want to get in on that action, get after it, boys. Y'all be good. Peace and love, baby.